My Italian blood was boiling. I got paid to sign underwear and bras. They wanted me to be Tarzan, and I turned it down. I would have probably breached the contract. And Hi, I'm Fabio, and this is my ET, then and now.
I want to take you back to 1991 and our very first Entertainment Tonight interview with you. I think you were on the set of one of your romance cover shoots.
For me, it just is a fantasy, and as a fantasy, when I come on a set, when I come in a studio, I live the fantasy because I have to play the character. But soon I leave the studio, I'm just a guy, like many others. And I don't live the fantasy. Soon I leave the studio, I go back to reality. I'm just Fabio, just, a regular guy.
You remember that knee?
Chest and muscle on the arm. Don't bring the arm back too far back because it gets smaller.
I'm just Fabio. I'm just a regular
sure,
guy.
It's like, listen, I believe in God. There is only one God, and all the rest are human.
When you see that guy from 1991, what do you think about him?
It was fun, I tell you. First of all, I was very blessed to come in this country and right away to be very successful. It was like a dream come true, and it's true because the American dream exists because I'm the proof.
When you did those cover shoots, they were also so very intimate and very sexy. So what was going through your mind when you're shooting them? Because we see this image, but then on set, is it something totally different?
My Italian blood was boiling.
Exactly.
I always tease my friend because I'm like, another day at the office. Today I just work with 6 different models.
Oh gosh, what a life.
A regular Tuesday.
But you became the face of romance almost overnight for a lot of people. So how did that happen? Was there one job or one shoot that just kind of changed everything?
Well, I used to do, a big campaign before that, like The Gap, Levi's, and many others, Versace, and so on. And some of the writers, they say, we want that guy to be, the face of our hero. And next thing you know, I'm doing all these book covers, and that time I didn't even know. I was doing just a photo shoot.
Yeah.
Right?
When did you first see the book? Did you just walk into a bookstore?
No.
Or did you?
Let me tell you, it was a funny story. It was like, I was actually in a club in Miami, and 4 girls come up to me and they go like, oh my God, you look like the guy in our books. And I go like, oh, you know what? There's a good pickup line. I never heard that before. And they go like, no, really, I'm telling you, it's like you look exactly like the guy in the book. They went home. 45 minutes later, they come back with all the books, and they show, look. And I'm like, yeah, that's me. And I had no idea.
Did you ever read the books and then say, oh my goodness?
You want the truth?
Yes. No.
I'm a guy.
It's okay. I just had to ask, that's for sure. Well, listen, women went wild over you. Wild over you. So what's the wildest fan encounter that you had at the height of your fame?
Oh God, there's so many. I can. When I was doing appearances, they used to bring me, underwear and and bra and everything to be signed, and it was like, I love this country. It's like, I got paid to hang up with women and sign underwear and bras. I mean, it's like, this is a dream come true.
The hair is kind of what set everything off, right? When did you realize that, this hair is also my moneymaker?
Well, it's like, I was always like a wild guy. So the wild hair was always like part of my personality.
Okay.
This is the way I am. I like this way, I like my hair this way, and I started modeling, and I got the incredible response, and it became a trademark.
Was there ever a time where you said, I'm gonna cut this hair off?
Well, let me tell you, I was in the Army. I was Special Forces in the Army, in the Italian Army, so they shaved my hair 3 times. so I've been there.
Yeah.
I think, it's just the persona more than the hair.
Well, and it was also the physique, which you took very good care of yourself. So, what was it like to maintain? Were you in the gym 7 days a week?
I used to be an athlete. So I used to do track and field, and also I competed for 15 years alpine skiing.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, and that's how I got into the gym, because I broke my tibia, I broke my collarbone. I went to the gym to rehabilitate, my collarbone, rehabilitate, my legs, and that's how I got into, working out, and I loved it, and it was such a high. I went to the gym because I love to go to the gym.
Yeah.
That was the difference. It's kind of fact. My agency, they used every time, they used to beg me, please, Fabio, please don't go to the gym. Please,
Because you were too big.
Right, please, please, please.
How has your relationship with like your hair and your body changed over the years?
The most important thing to me, it's how you feel about yourself.
Yeah.
The most important thing is health. So the most important thing to me is to keep myself, really, really healthy. And also, I was always an advocate for people not to drink, because I never drink in my life, and I used to tell all the people all the time, don't drink, don't drink, don't drink. And people, oh, you're not fun, you're not drinking, like I'm telling you, it's not good for you, it's not good for you.
One of the things I love is that you made the most of your opportunity. You didn't just stop at the cover of romance novels that then branched out to videos, commercials. Well, we were on set of one of your cameos in the television show New York News with Mary Tyler Moore and the late Madeline Kahn. Here's what you had to say about fame when we were with you then.
You are in a limelight. Of course, there are going to be people they like you, people they dislike you, and it's like people they're going to talk about you. But what about that saying? There is an American saying it's better being looked than overlooked. So this is my theory. You are a beautiful woman, and you know how tough it is when you judge by your looks.
Very sweet.
But it's true, I mean it. I saw your picture in the magazine many, many times. And, you got gorgeous eyes.
Look at you.
It's the Italian way,
Yeah,
what
it
can you
is.
do?
You are a
like
charmer. Of all of the movies, though, and TV cameos that you've done as yourself, is there a favorite memory from any of the sets?
Definitely Zoolander.
Yeah.
You consider me the best actor/model, and not the other way around.
And Dude Was My Car.
Yeah, what? Come on.
It was fun. It's like the most important thing in life, never take yourself too seriously and go with the flow, And I got offered, many times, many roles.
Yeah.
Like back in the 90s, they wanted me to be Tarzan, and I turned it down. And, it's like, to me, the most important thing is I love my life. I have a great life. So I don't have to be all the time in a limelight. There's a lot of celebrities, they always want attention. I can do without it, okay?
But why did you turn down Tarzan? Did you say that you
Because I wouldn't see myself for 3.5 years running around with a loincloth in the jungle in the middle of Mexico. Knowing myself, I would have probably breached the contract and and come back to the state.
Oh, so it was just that you didn't want to do that for 3 years
some other
in
project
Mexico?
too. It's like I believe my life is the most important thing, and it doesn't matter the money. If I'm not happy, I will never do things for money. I will do things that I'm actually happy to do it.
So what's life like now for the 66-year-old? His hobby is trading stocks. He's single and enjoys spending time outdoors on his 500-acre property.
I have a place up in Washington State in the middle of nowhere, like in the middle of a forest, and it's beautiful. And with nature and lakes, and now you get rid of your stress, you go in nature.
We can't do this interview, though, without talking about the I Can't Believe It's Not Butter campaign, because that was iconic.
Yes.
What made you say yes to that? What made you say, okay, this does sit right with my spirit?
It was a fun campaign. They're great people. It was an amazing company to work for. It was the longest running campaign in history of the United States. It was. And as a matter of fact, now I'm actually relaunching the new product.
I love the fact that you aren't afraid to make fun of yourself either. Like you're
and
very
also, I team up
self-deprecating.
with Gordon Ramsay.
Yes.
He's a really funny guy, and it's great. I had a lot of fun to shoot the new campaign.
Where is my butter? Where is it? Butter? I haven't seen you since the 90s.
Well, no, we're back.
Where did the confidence come from to say, I can be self-deprecating, I'm not going to take myself too seriously?
Look up.
Got it. Got it.
you know?
Yeah.
It's when you know your limitation, when you know, it's like, keep yourself humble is very, very important.
Finally, if you could give one piece of advice to Fabio of the 90s, what would that one piece of advice be?
Just be yourself.
Yeah.
Just be what, you know, just ride the wave and never lose control of yourself.